What's up, everybody? It's Mike here from The Art of Guitar, here with another guitar lesson today. I had a concert a while ago, and there was a point in the show where I had to do the beginning of a song, and it required me to do downstrokes really fast, but I kind of chickened out a little bit. I got lazy, and I started to do down and upstrokes instead, just because I wasn't sure I could keep up with the song at the time. So I kind of failed at it a little bit, and I got really mad at myself, and I realized that's how I get good at things, is I have to sometimes embarrass myself completely, go back to the woodshed as they call it, and find out what went wrong and try to fix it. And then hopefully I can add these new ideas to my own techniques, and I won't have to face that embarrassment in the future when it comes to at least down picking. And now the benefit is I get to share it with you guys, all the things I discovered. So here's what I found out. My downstroking was decent, but when I wanted to get to like James Hetfield levels, I just couldn't do it, and I couldn't do it for very long without my arm wanting to fall off. It just started to get really sore. So I started to wonder, what does he do in his technique that seems to allow him to pick the way he does? And first of all, I noticed the way he holds a pick is different than me, so I didn't want to change the way I held my pick because I have shows coming up and I don't want to reconstruct my right hand completely. But if you guys ever want to try it, it's kind of fun holding your pick with 2 fingers in your thumb. And James does this crazy thing where his thumb actually comes up like this. And when he picks, it looks very, very interesting. It's like that. And it's effective. What I found when I hold my pick with 3 fingers, I'll call this 3 fingers even though it's 2 fingers and a thumb, is that you feel like you have ultimate control of the pick, and basically it keeps it from moving at all. The problem with the way I pick like this is I'm so used to having to strum and play leads that the pick is sticking out a little bit further than maybe I should have it. So that's how far it's sticking out when I pick. And so when I down pick, there's a lot of give to the pick, which even though it seems very minuscule, the smallest amount of give on a pick can affect how much effort it takes to do these downstrokes in time. So I made it a goal to play Master of Puppets all the way through without getting tired and without stopping, being able to keep up with him the whole time. And I was able to do it for the first time today, so it's kind of a good feeling. Okay, so here's what I started to do. I started taking the pick, because I want to hold it my way, like I said, and I started choking up on it quite a bit. So if you look, I basically only let a tiny bit stick out like this. Hopefully you can see that. Just a tiny bit, that's all you need. And then, as I picked, I started to just do a little bit of a rotation with the wrist, just a tiny bit, because when you use just your fingers on this, it's not as effective as when you're trying to speed pick. You can use the micro picking technique. You obviously don't want to use your arm at all, because that's going to be a huge part of your body to move, and you can't go very fast if you use your whole arm like that. So I used my wrist. I did a little bit of the rotation trick that I was doing a long time ago, and it almost felt like I was trying to do artificial harmonics. That's how close my thumb was to touching the string as I picked, because I choked up on the pick so much. But don't let it quite do that, otherwise everything's going to sound like an artificial harmonic, okay? You don't want this going on? Okay, so back off just a little bit so that doesn't happen. Now, the thing I discovered quite recently that made all the difference is the way you think about it as you're playing. Because how you think about a technique as you're doing it can sometimes be the difference between if you start to tense up or if you can do it relaxed. And I thought about if you've ever dribbled a basketball. Sometimes you're dribbling and you're high up, and the ball's coming up and you keep dribbling. Then you go smaller and smaller and smaller until you're really close to the ground. And have you ever felt it where the ball's bouncing so fast, but you're barely moving your hand, but you're really close to the ground? It's like this kind of thing going on. So I started to bounce the pick on the string a little bit. And as I did that, I visualized the string going down a little bit, coming back up, but just meeting it right away with the pick so that it has to go down again quickly. If you think about going down, up, down, up, down, up, there's a lot of extra slack in your thinking, and it causes you to work too much to make the same effect. So now think of it as the string is bouncing up and down, and you're just meeting it with your pick when the string's on its way back up, okay? So it's this kind of imaginary visualization you have to think of. So think of the string going down just a little bit, coming back, meeting your pick, getting pushed down again, coming back, hitting it, and then the basketball effect starts happening. And when I did that, I was able to keep up and keep relaxed, which is the most important part about this. If you're practicing the Master Puppets, let's say you're Creeping Death or something, and you start to tense up, go ahead and stop. It means you're doing something wrong. Go back and try to do it again. Make that a goal to see how long you can go before you tense up, okay? Starting slow now, check this out. Choking up on the pick. That's how I used to do it, okay? It was about this big. So I'm already getting tired. Like I can already feel my forearms starting to tense up when I do it that way. Now if I go very small, it's like microscopic dribbling here. And I start to do just a little movement, just enough to make the sound. Start off a little bit soft, okay? See how small my hand looks right there when I do that? That helps a tremendous amount. Now realize that you really only have to do it a few times. James isn't consistently doing that for Master Puppets, for example. And then you have the power chord part. As I was watching Metallica videos, I noticed Kirk Hammett picks like I do with his fingers like this, and he was doing what I think I'm doing now. I'm just kind of guessing. He hasn't been returning my emails, so I don't know for sure. But what happens, I'm just kidding. So what happens is, today with YouTube, you could really look close and watch a bunch of videos and see what these guys are doing and try to mimic it yourself. Some of you guys might go, well, just do upstrokes. What's the difference? Well, sometimes when you're doing a riff, there is a difference in feel and in sound. So I'm going to play the riff that I had to play live that I botched. It's not in the right tuning right now because it's supposed to be down a whole step. But here's basically what it sounded like when I did it. I'm exaggerating. I hope it wasn't that bad. Hopefully nobody filmed the show. But now, with downstrokes doing the Metallica choke-up thing, it would sound like this. So you see the tightness, you know, obviously, like I said, I'm exaggerating, but you get the idea. Sometimes something just feels right, and because it feels right, it sounds right as well in this case, and it just fits the groove better if you do downstrokes, okay? Just so you know, that was a Motley Crue song. Livewire. But when it comes to Metallica now, the true test for me is being able to play Master Puppets. Using this technique now would be very interesting to see how many of you guys who have struggled doing downstrokes on that song can now do it up to speed. I recommend slowing it down too. Go ahead and bring puppets down maybe a quarter of the speed, or 3/4 of the speed, and play it through and get relaxed with it, and then speed it back up. You know, nowadays with a lot of editing programs, you could use Audacity, you could probably use Logic, free trial, Pro Tools, who knows. But you could take a song, slow it down a little bit, GarageBand, and work your way up to full speed. Go a little bit past full speed, just to freak your brain out and come back, and it'll seem a lot easier. That's a little tip that John Petrucci said in one of his videos for getting fast at something. Okay, so I'm not going to demonstrate the entire Master of Puppets. I know some of you guys are going, show us the whole song, but that's a good way to get pulled off YouTube because you want your you don't want to play someone else's song on your video. But what I'll do in the future is I'll go ahead and make a backing track on my own, and I'll try to see if YouTube will allow me to play the whole thing. But for now, just get really good at that concept. Use it on a couple Metallica songs or any other metal songs that you like. I was using it for Creeping Death with a lot of success as well. By the way, I did try the 3-finger method for a while. I'm not that good at it yet because just the way it feels is so awkward to me, and I stick my pinky out, it looks like I'm drinking tea or something. But there is a little bit of a sound difference because you have total command of the pick. It's a lot more aggressive sounding. So if I was in a Metallica tribute band, I'd probably switch to that, honestly. But then I'd have to relearn to do my leads and everything, so I'm not going to do it quite yet. All right, so if you guys want to use that idea, let me know if it works for you guys. Remember, a lot of it's the visualization part and just choking up on the pick. But let me know if you have any breakthroughs of your own, and I'm looking forward to hearing from you. All right, thanks, guys.